Right, if you know the term alloy or alloying, as in the process in chemistry or physics, then most likely you realize that that specific theory could actually make you a millionaire. Now, let me explain. So, the term of alloy or the process of alloying is basically combining two unique substances and making it into one new or unique substance. Now, a very basic example, we have bronze, which is basically bronze is an alloy of 90% copper and 10% tin. Another example, we have steel, and steel is, if not the most crucial resource slash material during the Industrial Revolution, and steel is basically an alloy of both iron and carbon, if I'm not mistaken. And so before you guys click off because I perhaps said something that is highly cliche and basics physics or chemistry, let me explain. Because in order for you to become a millionaire, you have to understand that the consumption of knowledge is the most important thing. The reason why people are millionaires out there is because there are specific businessmen slash entrepreneurs that have provided a specific solution and contribute somewhat to the consumerist market, if not the bigger market. And so in order for you to become an entrepreneur and to have essentially that mindset to develop and create something innovative, you need to have a very good degree of understanding, or in other words, a very good degree of consumption of knowledge. So in other words, you have to be an absolute good learner. And that is very cliche because you hear and we read books where millionaires always talk about how they are never stopping to learn, or they, in other words, never stop learning, and basically read a lot of books. They learn a lot of new things. They try out, you see this in the headlines with AI, or the CEO of Amazon decides to implement different types of softwares, etc., etc. So the point is, the people at the very top, the top 1%, if not the top-notch 1%, they have a crazy extent of consuming knowledge. And so coming back to the basic chemistry and physics term, I want you to understand that knowledge in a very philosophical manner, as we have it from Plato, is nothing more than you having a specific experience in an environment, acquiring it, and somehow developing it into a very specific action. So in other words, all the people who have acquired the knowledge over time, we've seen them wrote books about it. Nowadays we have podcasts, the YouTube videos, there are people doing courses. So there are really great figures and minds out there that have consumed, if not brilliant types of knowledges, and have formatted it into a specific book or a specific channel for you to consume it as an audience, right? And so in order for you to become essentially a millionaire, you have to understand that knowledge is more or less something like an alloy, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, knowledge is a combination between experience and action, right? So experience, like learning something new, and action, actually trying it out and doing it. And so based on those basic principles, alloy is basically the same, right? So the alloy of knowledge exists everywhere, in bookstores, in YouTube videos, online platforms. And so if you want to become a millionaire, you need to find out the alloys. You have to find out where are the golden nuggets of knowledge laying out there. And in order for you to figure that out, you have to firstly be looking at the right direction. What type of specific knowledge, or in simple terms, alloy, are you looking for? If you want to become, a millionaire through e-commerce or dropshipping or crypto or even 9-to-5 corporate world, then you have to look for the specific knowledge that lies within those fields and disciplines. And so I want you guys to understand that just as an alloy, if two specific compounds are too strong, right, a little bit too much, the alloy becomes unstable, unreactive, or in other words, sometimes explosion for the chemists out there. But if an alloy is too weak, on the other hand, sometimes the combination of these two substances just don't exist. They don't accumulate, there's not enough power, there's not enough energy or resources generated. So an alloy is basically the golden nugget, a perfect mixture between two stuff, and those theories or those two specific stuff of combination that you're looking for, these are the things that you are supposed to look for in life, and it'll certainly guarantee for you to become a millionaire. See you guys in the next video.